Discord every single morning. I'm in our Discord every single afternoon. The only thing I haven't been participating in is the nights and late nights, and that's because my sleep schedule's changed. And a part of that is because of Red, but a part of that's also I'm a single dad now, taking care of a daughter full time, so I have to be on a normal schedule, not a DGen schedule. So if those optics are confusing to anybody, I'm happy to elaborate more. But I mean, at the end of the day, I recognize that the consistent and the more frequent activity is required and encouraged and needed. So things I agree with. Green Mint needs to get straightened out. I think we're all aligned with what needs to happen there. It's just a matter of Jug and the devs flipping that switch. Two, more consistency in programming and marketing, and three, more consistency in communication. Although, we have our channels set up for a reason, and so I think that if there are going to be expectations for communication, like guys, like if you have my phone number, just call me. Literally, just call me. I almost always answer. I can't explain to you how many notifications I get on my phone between all the Discord stuff, between all the Twitter accounts. Like, it's a lot. So, like, if I don't see it when it comes in, I'm not going to see it until I'm sitting down scrolling through looking for ones, right? So, if anyone feels ignored, I'm sorry. Certainly not, intentional, but, again, no excuse. I recognize that there can be better communication, and that's something that, I'll make sure we stick to. One thing that I will ask is that we, pick some consistent channels and, have appropriate conversations there based on whatever the topic might be. I am struggling keeping up with like the overwhelming number of Discord channels, DMs, Twitter DMs, etc. It's especially the last couple of days. Like, I respect everyone's opinions. I appreciate the kind words and the one-to-ones. And I've been trying to prioritize responding to those, over everything else.
And then also, it looks like that no matter what, obviously there's gonna have to be some restructuring involved. Not so much of like who's doing what, but like so much of like more in detail on who is covering what, and like if you ever do, like you do need to go and you do have, because we all have fucking IRL, dog. Like that's important. You know what I mean? Like we all have to get back to our life eventually. Like we have to eliminate this fucking made up life we have in this Web3 shit, and we gotta all realize we do have IRL, and that's what allows us the access to Web3. But if anything does come up in the future, to me, it's like if you're not able to be there, I don't want to have to feel like, well, fuck, who knows enough or knowledgeable
Well,
enough to
so
fill
yeah, I
in
mean, in
the
all
spot.
fairness here, I knew that I was going to be stepping away for a couple of weeks. JCon had actually taken time off work to focus on this and ended up just building out Scooby Doodles, which is fine. Um,
Yeah.
but we had a contingency plan in place for me not being there, and it revolved around the people that all exited. And so that was very calculated and coordinated. And I'm not going to name spout and really go into the details. Those that are familiar with Scooby Doodles know what the fuck happened, and it's a bunch of nonsense. Is really all I'll say. Um, so that said, Keith has always been present the entire time,
Okay.
right? So like, and there's no secret that he's one of the project partners. He's always a co-host of the spaces. No, like all of these concerns were shouted out by people from the Scooby Doodles team and maybe one or two others yesterday at the same time, which was interesting. Not one thing was mentioned to me. Not one thing was mentioned to Keith.
Well, you just gotta look at it now as like my point of view. Like you said, like it was Jaycon that was supposed to be, and then Keith. Like I've never really personally talked to Keith. I think I've heard Keith say like maybe three sentences ever in my life, honestly. But that that
He's
doesn't.
more of a one-on-one kind of guy. Like,
And I'm cool with that. Fucking man,
yeah.
I love that shit, dude. So for me, it just you got to realize like if that was Jay Con and he was supposed to take it over, because then and now I see that going, oh fucking he's gone, and then you know what I mean? Like it puts in like
Well,
a whole
so yeah, so
chaos
from an
in his
infrastructure
shit.
standpoint,
Yeah.
JCon had no Discord access. We actually have a Discord admin that we pay and we love. Um, Lil Devil. I think his name is Kratos in Discord. But yeah, so Discord secured and locked down. Everything that needs to happen with role, everything that the 5 mods were doing. Well, we were supposed to only have 5, and somehow it expanded to like 9, and then all of that got dissolved, and we're restructuring with some programmatic stuff, which we'll dive into here a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, everything that the mod team was doing from the infrastructure side, Raj can do and has been doing anyway. It's a matter of correcting some of the roles and some of the permissions, and there's a reason some of the things don't work, and we're going to go ahead and get that fixed. But like I said before, like nothing changed. Like I with the exception of Brennan, I can't name one thing that's going to be different, except a couple less people are going to be hanging out from our mod team. A couple less people are going to be hanging out in Gen Chat. Like, none of those guys were hosting spaces. None of those guys were co-leading marketing events or promotions. Like, they were all entirely focused on their own projects, which is fine. Like, we want to support that, but we want to support that through OX Black, not through our paid mod roles. And so that's been a lot of the friction over the last couple of weeks. And just so everyone's familiar, JCon tried to get us to sign a contract with him saying that we would guarantee him 9 ETH to be the project manager for Scooby Doodles, and we said no. There was never a discussion about any sort of agreement terms or anything else for anyone else. That was the end of that discussion. We then had a meeting with the project team. Everyone was on the same page about a mint date. And then they never put anything into the Dropbox. We weren't too worried about it. We weren't that jazzed on the project anyway, because when we asked them about the utility is the social club community. Well, that's not a utility. We already have that with the social club. So, this isn't something that the dev team wanted to prioritize, and it certainly isn't something that we wanted to underwrite from the sense of paying mods to develop another project. So, the friction's been building for the last 7 to 10 days. Obviously, it's kind of revolved around that. And then it's been, I would say, compounded by my lack of consistent presence and the stalled green mint. I think that all of those things happening at once are just an unfortunate chain of events. But to be completely frank, and walking away from my conversations with the devs, we're kind of glad that we weeded this out, because we've been trying to figure out how to do it for a couple of weeks anyway. So, is it painful? Yeah. Is it going to be a bitch to get through? Maybe a little bit, but like I said, nothing has changed. The roadmap's the roadmap. The restructure's already in place. Like, that was already in progress. We've discussed it over the last 10 days. So, from an infrastructure standpoint, from a development standpoint, from a project roadmap standpoint, literally nothing has changed.
Okay. And I respect that to the most. Just moving forward, I guess my thing I will ask, or you know what I mean. My thing is if you can, you know, obviously you stated that you'd definitely be here a lot more, or and if more shit comes up, you know what I mean, like IRL. Um, even if I'm sitting at the bottom, I don't even want to have that question, because like really there's a few people that ask me, they're like, hey, we're smoking. I can't even, I could say, hey, yeah, he has IRL shit, but like if like JCon had a little bit of idea, or even some of the team, some of that needs to be, at least all of the team needs a little bit, not the inside of what really happened. Like, I don't want to know the personal details, but if Monkey has shit going on that is personally close to him that he's got to take care of him, he's gone for X amount at least. Hey, cool, bitchin'. I can pass that along. If nobody gives me that details, and this is where the structure lies in refounding, or the foundation again when you build this thing, is can you definitely treat it definitely more business like, brother? And then also, um, I guess the easiest way is can you kind of make sure you really are putting the right people in the right spots moving forth. So, because I don't think we can have this happen again and then salvage everything that we've all worked so hard for. I mean, we've
Yeah,
all
I
put
think
in.
I think
Especially
each of those.
when it comes to spaces, I mean, I think too. I mean, obviously, the already scheduled spaces when it comes to the show stuff, and then the Sunday night stuff. That didn't happen at all last week. So it's stuff like that that raises questions like we talked about consistency last mod meeting that we had 2 weeks ago, and I if you can't make it to those, then let me know, heads up, and then I'll start running it from mine type stuff. obviously we had other community mods in here that were going to step up and run. We ran music space, and then obviously the Thirsty Thursday with Schwab was focused more around the Doodles thing or whatever last week. But it's stuff like that it was a ramp up of, okay, now people need to start used to hosting their own kind of spaces on their own. You know what I mean? Because of the actual host or actual spaces that were hosted from the OX Social Club Twitter itself didn't happen, the previous week. So like I said, I have no problem running these spaces. I have no problem stepping up and being the face when you're not able to make it. I just need to know, on those, at least those two scheduled, the ones that we have said that we're going to try to do consistently week, which is the chill and chill, and then the Sunday stuff that like kind of ramps up into the sniper sessions. Just let me know, and I'll
yeah. So those the 2 points that he made, and then the point that you're making, Diesel. Like I agree with all three of those things. I don't have a rebuttal. The short answer is yes, you're right, and the longer answer is I'll be putting it into practice to make sure that we're following through with it. I can say this. Those spaces are obviously going to be very important to new eyes on and new consistent eyes on. So, as the market starts rebounding, as the NFT summer comes, like we want to make sure that we have presence. So that's obviously very important.
Couldn't agree more.
So do we want to? I don't want to move on to the programmatic restructure yet until anything that's left lingering has been addressed from yesterday.
With the, I don't want to call it mass exit, but just the people who are no longer here, and the restructuring that you have kind of in your mind. You think that the people that are here and the people that are in the roles left is enough to be able to support the real growth that you and the devs kind of think that this is needed, or with those people kind of leaving, and some of the community or creative community type stuff having a little bit of an impact, do you think we should start looking into some replacements for some of those roles?
To be honest, I'd rather not make the same mistakes. I think the mistakes were the entire idea of how we set up the mod team was the devs didn't want to be involved at all. They want to keep building. Like they're working on really complicated, staking mechanisms, etc. And this isn't the only project they're working on, right? Like, this is a full-time job for them. So the way it was set up was too large. When it was only a few people, it was highly, highly effective. And to be completely frank, there are a couple of people not on this call that I've already had talks with today because I knew they couldn't make it. But for basically the people that are on this call and a couple of others are the ones that are actually contributing to programmatic growth, to community growth, etc. The ones that have set out for, personal pursuits, again, not knocking it, but that's not what our mod team is about. They've made themselves clear and consistently. So what I would like to do is lean into, and this kind of transitions into what I really want to talk about anyway, is lean into those people, lean into those programs, and lean into those things that will supplement, uplift, and continue to develop the social club. Examples of that, Diesel, are you and what you've developed with the sniper session, and I think what can be grow into more of like NFT training, etc. Like I think that can turn into something in a big way, and maybe even beyond the social club. Obviously Harlem. With what he's doing with OX Red Alpha, and then going above and beyond with not only the live trading, but in the bots, but also the training. I think that's wildly important with onboarding and making it accessible to everyone, and it's quite literally life changing. I think Mo, I think he's on the call, but he can't talk. Mo, with what he's doing with the alpha calls, like even if he's not only involved in social club, like he's creating value for the community, like that's valuable. Kimberlin with what he's doing with the musicians and mixtape, Keith with what he's doing with Black and the creators community. And we're going to have some cool announcements coming out with the post and the creators payments for Green. Like these are the things that I want to lean into. These are the things I like talking about. These are the things we we see results in terms of engagement. And from my perspective, the natural solution is to allow those people that are creating programmatic success and programmatic opportunity for the social club to share in the upside of the social club. So figuring out what that looks like with everybody individually might look a little bit differently, but I think the core concept would lie in, when revenues are created and being generated, the people that are creating that program should share in it. We're not thinking of like 0.1 or 0.2 weekly or monthly mod payments. We're not thinking of things like that. We're talking about literally handing over smart contracts to the community mods, community wallet, and driving secondary sales and all of the revenues, and then splitting it up appropriately. So trying to figure out exactly how that's going to work and what it looks like. I think there are a couple of people that have already earned it. I also think, to your point, I think there are other people that have brought ideas to the table that have not been pursued, that have the capability and the opportunity to earn it as well. So that's really the direction that I would like to see this go. That's the direction that I believe the devs are aligned in this heading. From a practical perspective of sustainable growth for the social club, I also think it's an easy decision on paper. So that's where my head's at. So in the immediate, do we need more people? No. Can we better engage and activate the people that we already have? Yes.
Okay. I agree.
Definitely. 100.
That was a great answer. Yep, I love that. So let's think a month down the road. Let's say obviously Green's closed, and we're hinting on mutant hype into August, or late whatever, however the devs want to kind of do it. What are like the next steps? Obviously community building, but is there any plans that are behind that?
We're going to have to dump some ETH into marketing is really what it's going to come down to.
Okay.
Just the same way we did when we rolled out originally.
Understood.
Because at the end of the day, it's about volume.
Yes, sir.
Agreed.
So that was one of the key topics of our dev talk last night.
And that is 100% understandable on that statement.
And also to address another elephant in the room, like I don't know what that spreadsheet was that Vert put forward, but it was fucking ludicrous. I am not all of the devs. I don't know how to do front end coding. I don't know how to create smart contracts. I don't know how to generate art. Like I don't do those are all different people that do all of those roles, and those are all different people that own those wallets. Like what was being suggested yesterday was fucking asinine, and I'm sorry that I use that language, but for people that have been here from the beginning, Jug, OX Honey, the other support devs, like they've been in the spaces. They stopped coming into the spaces because the vibes changed. Just to be very honest with you guys, the spaces got very egocentric. It became about a few people, and we stopped having fun. We stopped having the conversations that people wanted to have. And, I think that was reflected in the attendance in the audience. And, I recognized it, as the host. So I think that, one of the things that we did well when we started was guerrilla marketing. So we got to get back to that. The other thing that we did really well was we had a no nonsense policy in spaces. If people were taking things off track, I just buzzed them out and we moved on. We've kind of gotten to a point now where if people are holders, we let them ramble on, but we can't do that. So, I think there are a lot of things that we can do from the volume and eyes on standpoint to make it easier for us to reach our goals from an engagement perspective. And a lot of it comes back to the basics, which we started with. So, we got to get back to the basics.
Running like a business.
That's exactly right. You said it earlier.
With it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, trying to think, other things that were said that I agreed with. There were several. What I disagreed with was basically all of the allegations and accusations. They were just off base and inaccurate across the board. More things that I agree with. I'm trying to think. I know there was at least one more.
You mean you can't remember out of the 300 messages?
Well, they were
Nah,
all.
I'm
There
just
were
messing.
only.
I'm messing.
Yeah, there were only a few that I agreed with, and because they stood out to me as being correct, as things that I had actually, I had discussed already. Um, like a business operations manager is like a role that we've been surveying for. And frankly, it looks like we've dodged two bullets. We were looking at potentially JCon and then potentially Vert. And JCon wanted to go do his own projects, which is cool. So he said he just wanted to stay on in the mod role. And I'll be very honest. When JCon was tuned in and plugged in, he was very good. He's a very good manager of people when he wants to be. So like I can't underscore that enough. I think that he's a very capable person. The other person that we were potentially looking for was Vert. But we had some concerns, and a lot of those have been, I think, proven correct. But I also think that there's I appreciate that Vert brought things to the forefront that maybe other people didn't want to say. I don't appreciate how it happened, and I don't appreciate that it was brought up in the manner that it was brought up to make it appear as if malfeasance had occurred, which it absolutely has not. So again, not being defensive, that's just my practical outtake on it all. So, I agreed on those key points, though. And I guess the last thing that I really agreed on was, kind of getting back to the promos and the giveaways. But, I think I already touched on that and, kind of getting back to the guerrilla marketing, because in my opinion, those are hand in hand.
oh yeah, I'm down with that one.
Well, I don't want to keep you guys all night. I definitely want to create the opportunity for anyone that has additional concerns to address them. If you have ideas that you want to chat about, happy to do that. I know that I told JDM that I'd hop on a call with him. I was also planning on getting on a call with Lemonhead. If Keith is still not on the call, I'm going to get on a call with him and see where he is, figure out what's going on there. I know he was really disheartened and thrown off yesterday. He didn't know that all of that was happening throughout the day. When he checked in Discord, he's working on art for mutants. When he checked in Discord last night and saw all of that, I know that he was a little off put. I will tell you, I don't agree with everything that he said or how he said it, and I'll the same. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not going to support us speaking to each other like that in general. I'm serious when I say that. We have to be able to have hard conversations with each other and not take it personally. Like, we have to. And this can be the social club. This can be fun. Like, there are people, like, I'm closer with a lot of you guys now than I am with my own friends. Like, I spend more time with you guys, right? But I don't know. I was really sad with the discourse yesterday, because I think that it's not reflective of the relationships that we've built together, in my opinion.
100.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's a business, can't be stuff. Gotta respect everybody. For sure.
Exactly, and that's always the same thing, JD. Straight up, man. Like there somewhere on one side there's one side of the story, you know what I mean, and then there's another side, right? Well, somewhere in between those two sides, somewhere in the middle, is the truth. You know what I mean? So that's the cool thing, right? We get to at least weigh everything out. You know what I mean? From what we all got to read and everything that kind of went on and shit. And being able to talk to Smokey, it makes me feel a lot better. You know what I mean? Not only as an investor, but also as my name is my last name, bro. Like I let everybody call me by my name. I'm not hiding. So my name is all I got is my word, bro. So as a man, as a grown ass man in this life, and as I live my life, I keep my word. You know what I mean? So if moving forward and we can, like we've just discussed this whole time, kind of getting a little more structuralized and putting the right things in order that need to be put in order, and moving forth with this. Um, I I'm I feel confident. You know what I mean? Like I feel confident. And as
Yeah,
long
look,
as
and I'll take my fair share of the blame. Like, I could have been more present, but look, I've built businesses all my life, and typically when you hire people to do a job, you expect them to do that job, and when you come back and that job hasn't been done, and you address it, and they're mad about it, that though this whole response to the disillusion of the paid mod team just really threw me off because, a big part of that programming is the consistency. And, from the devs perspective, like they're pissed when I went through all of this with them. And it was embarrassing for me because the mod program was like something that I put together. It was my brainchild. But from their perspective, they were paying to have these things done. They were paying people so that there would be spaces every day. They were paying people so that there'd be the consistent giveaways in Discord. We created a wallet of giveaway apes that we gave them permission to use as giveaways and created a mechanism for that to happen. It just didn't happen. Right. So like I'll take this probably could have been dealt with 2 weeks ago had I been more present. So that's my fucking fault. But, I will stand by the fact that we were paying people to do exactly what everyone here is saying that we need to get done. What's clear is that we were paying people that were malaligned with the goals, and there wasn't enough oversight, and that's 100% my fault.
And that's the cool thing, cause I don't have any expectations of anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm very open. I'm always open minded. Why? Because I treat this as if it was a business. I think I'm pretty good at doing what I do out here in the real world. And you know what I mean, and being able to provide for my family and shit. So I take the same aspects in life with everything. What is my greatest aspects that I can give to this and moving forth? So like I said, hearing everything you said today, I needed to hear that because I only hear what others are saying and when others that I felt that you trusted in or confide in a little more than maybe you should have, or maybe I realized that I should have allowed then now. And I get to equal the balance out, and it helps me moving forth. It puts me at a lot more confidence. So I appreciate it. You know what I mean? And just like I said, moving forward, if you ever have shit to where it does go on, I guess even from the top of the command all the way down to the bottom, if you have people that you do put on your team that you do trust in, then trust in them to do the job that you need them to do and give them the opportunity. Because you know what I mean? And then if we do go forward, make sure that you are confident in us as we are confident in ourselves with the proper knowledge. So if we do say something or we go into space that, hey, you 100% are not side blinded by any of it, you 100% always know what's going on, and therefore we have that confidence that I can't fuck up because he knows what I'm doing. He's good with it. We're all on the same page, and it's not just one or three of us that know. It's the whole team should know. And that right there is, you know what I mean? And you've already said that you would work on that going forward. So that's huge to me, Smokey. Like straight up, dude. That's
Yeah,
huge.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, literally everything that you said. I have no rebuttal. I really wish that we could hear from Mo a little bit. I know Mo had questions yesterday, and I think he's at his restaurant, so he's unable to speak. But
Oh,
Mo, if you,
he's in the title, Bleeds OX chat. It said Smokey. Where are we on taking care of the artists from Green? All the 101 artists. Yeah, I'm in here listening. At work though.
yeah, so I actually mentioned that earlier in the call. Devs did the withdrawal, and so that was percentage based. So we had to wait and see what the mint revenue was going to be. So they'll be getting that this week, I believe, on Wednesday. Or today is Wednesday, so probably Thursday. Was today Tuesday or Wednesday?
Today's
Whatever. It'll be tomorrow.
Wednesday.
The withdrawal has happened, and the money is in the um, community wallet already. Dev's already sent that over.
He said, "Okay, perfect. Sounds good."
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Smokey.
and we've relayed that information to the artists, so they all know that.
And then he said,
And that shouldn't be new information to anyone. There was no like that. The plan was to do that as well as all of the mint out giveaways at the same time. Now it obviously isn't minted out, so we're doing it live. You know what I mean?
and
But
then,
anyway, I mean, there was no like the allegations and accusations yesterday that were made were just patently false.
okay. And then does that cover the mixtape too?
No, what I don't understand. No, those are two completely separate things. What are you talking about?
He said, "Sounds good. Just want to make sure all the artists get taken care of, and the mixtape." In question mark. What it
No,
said.
so Kimberlin has his own deal that he worked out. We actually offered him more than what he asked for to lead that project, and then that's going to be a free mint for all social club holders, and they will agree on a price for it for public mint, and all of that revenue will just be split amongst the artists. Some of them have 2 tracks, some of them have 1, so we'll be leaning on Kimberlin to kind of guide and dictate what that looks like. But that's a artist probably, and that we're not taking any revenue from that, and
Okay.
we're
He said,
paying Kimberlin
yeah.
to manage it.
He said that's what he was looking for, just a progress on the mixtape, and he said, "Ah, cool. Okay,
Yeah,
cool."
and so Kimberlin can't be on this call because he's at work, but he and I got caught up on everything today. There's some lingering questions about how we're going to do the art. Our original plan doesn't necessarily work because of the way some of the number of tracks and the fact that there are some artists with 2 tracks, not just 1. So we're going to simplify what we're doing with the art, but that's going to be, within the next couple of weeks, it'll be a drop, and it'll just be free for all of our holders. So we already have
So
that script written,
okay.
so that we can grab everyone's wallet addresses. No one will have to do anything. It'll just be a mass snapshot from all the collections.
So, to your knowledge, now that obviously Doodles is out as far as a black utility, what when I go over the OX Black and I talk about the bullet level points of the 101, about Black, outside of I guess the mixtape or whatever, what is there any other submissions of things that we can discuss?
We have a bunch. Yeah, we have a bunch. That artist Megan has submitted some really cool cartoony projects. She has all done and ready to roll out. She just has to do community building around. Lemonhead has a project that I'm quite keen on. Interested to kind of get updated on the art progress there. I know he's been getting concepts from a lot of people. The short answer is we've had a lot of people request for us to put projects through the Launchpad. I'm seriously looking at a few of them right now.
Okay. So
And
just keep it high level for now, as far as just utility goes.
yeah, but you can,
Okay.
you can confidently say that holders of Black will be getting free mints in June, July, and August.
For Launchpad project. Got it.
Yes,
Yep.
from Launchpad projects. Yeah.
Free mints, or priority mints, because that's a big. I know we talked about it a lot in spaces of either free and or priority. So I don't want to
Projects
say.
that I'm aware of.
I don't want to say free.
Yeah, the projects that I'm aware of so far will be free, but you are correct that they won't all necessarily be.
Right. So that's the one thing I want to make sure that when I am talking about utility and stuff like that, that I just get the clear. What the answer is. That way, people are like, "Oh, well, I bought this because you said blah blah blah." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and we're absolutely not going to be promoting the Groovy Doodles project. If they put forward a roadmap or anything like that, I think that maybe we would consider it. But after everything that's happened, we'll just make sure that people know that we're not involved or associated, and we'll just let it be that. We're not going to shit on their parade, but I am a little butthurt because that was my idea that they ran with and then took from under us, and I don't know, just kind of the way all that went down just really left a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't want that to be emblematic of what people will be expecting from the Launchpad. So I'm glad that it's going to be launched elsewhere.
Mo said, while we're on the topic of the Launchpad project, how are things going with the 0x foes? I still have my artist sketching up stuff.
We can have a smart. We already told Mo when he's ready on that. We can go with a smart contract. Mo, what time are you off work? Well, shit. Just call me when you're off work, dude. I'm gonna be up gaming all night. I need to de-stress.
9 p.m. Laugh my ass off. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll be midnight my time, and my daughter will be in bed. I'm actually sitting outside of Chipotle to pick up our dinner right now. But guys, I don't mean to sound defensive with all of this stuff. Yesterday threw me off because I've known that there needs to be a reset both with the team and the project leadership. But what was thrown out yesterday really just was really disheartening for me because it's just I and I'd love to hear your feedback, but I feel like we've gone above and beyond to create something that wasn't being created, and we've had a lot of people try to copy what we're doing, and we've fought through all of that. And it's not just the devs. Like the reason the project is consistent is because the devs deliver. The reason the project is the way that it is because of the community and the people that are in it. And those two things started to get a little bit too separated. So, I want to see that marriage come back a little bit. And I just want to see the bonds repaired. The people that we lost, it sucks. Like I like Mod Squad, I like Boostin, like I like Brennan, I like Bert. Like I'm just so the way I don't know. It seemed to me that there was a clear agenda and ulterior motives, because if it was just about money, we could have discussed that. I'll stand by everything that the devs have done. They've done everything they promised that they would do. Even if it hasn't happened right when, they've always gotten it done. If it's about consistency, like those are open conversations, but like that's not what happened yesterday. There were wild accusations, and when then those were refuted, there were other accusations that were completely without foundation or base. And I don't know. I made the decision that the people that wanted to buy into that, I'm not even going to waste more time after yesterday trying to defend it, because in my opinion, there's nothing to defend. However, I recognize the fact that the community is going to want answers, and we need to make sure that we're giving them what they need and deserve to hear. So, I'm going to try to walk that tightrope. But, if I sound defensive, it's because I really was flabbergasted by many of the things that were said yesterday and the manner in which they were brought up.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I think just more along the lines of, obviously, with letting the community know about the restructure and or so not details of plans, right? Obviously, but just more along the lines of people are going to see that half the mod team is no longer here and stuff like that. So I think coming from either you,
to be honest with you, I'm going to reach out to some of our biggest whales who are only not here because of a couple of those mods and be like, hey, this is what's going on with the restructure. And hopefully we get some of that activity back in the community.
Okay.
I think that a community update is needed. I've already committed to giving one this week. I've said that in all of the Twitter chats. I need to say it in Discord. I wanted to wait until we had this meeting this week or tonight, but yeah, I mean, I agree. It not only are people going to notice, they're going to want, they're going to want to know what's going on. And I'm going to just try to lean on the power of positivity. I don't want to harp on anything. I don't want to make it look like, anyone is, in dissension or on bad terms. I'll just
Yeah, he started rugging.
we'll just keep it the long and short. No. The long and short of it is, nothing with the project has changed. A small contingency of the community mods have exited and are launching their own project. I mean, it's really as simple as that. And frankly, Keith predicted that this was going to happen when they did their own Discord. They did their own Dropbox. They didn't give us access. Like that whole story about whatever they said yesterday was just false. Like we've been, I don't know, the whole thing. Like I said, that's just mind blowing. But we kind of saw this coming, and we saw their lack of activity and their inconsistency, and like I expected them to be exiting and to do Scooby Doodles. I didn't expect all the other stuff. That all caught me off guard. It's my understanding that Vert had approached them to be the investor of the project, and so that's how he got commingled. But I don't want to misspeak. That could be hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys. Diesel, I know we got a little time before your sniper session starts. I got to pick dinner up here and get it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get dinner and head to the grocery store real quick, and then I'll be back live at 9:30 in Discord.
All right, cool. I'll talk to everybody in a little bit. I'm available on my cell if anyone needs me in the immediate. I know like JDM and Lemonhead or Sam. I'm already going to be talking to. I don't. Sometimes I call you Lemonhead. Sometimes I call you Sam. I don't know. But I'm going to just try to. My night from now until midnight will be gaming and phone calls. Other than the sniper session. So I'll make sure to get caught up with everyone tonight.
All right.
Thanks, Mo.
Thanks, sir.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.
All right, see ya.
Did I do good for you, Mo?